Before a rally in Detroit, VP Kamala Harris spoke briefly with the co-founders of the Uncommitted National Movement, which mobilized tens of thousands of voters in Michigan to withhold their votes from President Biden. Abbas Aliouia and Layla El Abed said that they were in the welcoming line for Harris and Governor Walz and communicated to Harris that they wanted to support her, but the voters wanted her to consider an arms embargo to immediately stop the carnage in the besieged enclave. Harris listened to the stories of people in Michigan who have had dozens of family members killed in Gaza. The leaders asked to meet with her about the embargo request, and she indicated she was open to it and introduced the two leaders to her staff. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why? Why won't you just say it then? Not that, but just say you are committed to a ceasefire. That's it. Bro, what's wrong with that? That sounds like a good thing. It is, but it also shows that she's just so fucking bad at campaigning. Just the one aspect that has been unique about the Democratic Party this past month is that they are no longer incompetent, okay? They're not whiffing, and they're not incompetent. That is incompetence. You meet with the fucking uncommitted campaign, you're like, oh, I'm on board with the fucking embargo. She needs to come out with a statement, dude. She needs to come out with a fucking statement. Oh my God. She needs to come out with a fucking statement. She needs to give an interview. She needs to come out with a statement. Anything. Anything. Biden was polling 20 points underneath Donald Trump on the issue of Israel. Do you want to know why? Well, one, because he's the president and Israel's doing a genocide and people attribute it to him correctly. But do you want to know why he was also polling so poorly in comparison to Donald Trump, that like 30% more Americans thought that Donald Trump would be better on the issue of Israel? Because he did not have a consistent position. You cannot keep doing this wishy-washy bullshit. They need to come out with a fucking statement instantly and then pop off with a goddamn interview, dude. Do a Lester Holt. Do a Lester Holt. Do something in like non-hostile territory. Just fucking do anything. Look, what are you doing? Just go out and speak. That way it's a double win, a double whammy. You get to fucking talk to the media, which is something that the Trump campaign keeps trying to harp on. Okay. Come out with a fucking statement and be like, look, our administration has been goddamn committed to ceasefire. Ceasefire with Israel. Israel is an important ally, important asset in the Middle East. It's our fucking wonderful friends. It's unfortunately being run to the ground by a crazy person who is very similar to Donald Trump. And that person is, for lack of a better term, mucking up the works. Like, genuinely disruptive to the ceasefire process. Person also happens to be a war criminal. It's like, it's the easiest fucking W of all time. You will literally have like 90% of the Gen Z vote wrapped up. It's just such a fucking layup, dude. It is such a goddamn layup. It is such a goddamn layup. I'm losing my mind. It's like right there. It's literally right there. I legitimately think that they saw Joe Biden pull out of Afghanistan and they saw how the media shellacked him. Okay? How aggressively the media pursued his ass and called him a bitch ass and called him a fucking phony and bad. That was the first time the media divorced with the Biden administration. And like, they got so scared that they just cannot do anything in terms of being like pro-peace. They just are fucking terrified that if they take one step in that direction. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is running around saying no new wars under my administration. Look around. Joe Biden is responsible for Ukraine. Joe Biden is responsible for Israel. I had sex with Kim Jong-un. I called him Rocket Man. We compared rockets to one another. All these leaders love me. Xi Jinping, strong dick. Okay. I call him strong dick. I call him Xi strong dick Ping. And honestly, we get along so well because I'm such a peaceful dog. He just keeps running around saying that, even though he's a fucking liar, and he did so much war when he was the president. He continued to fucking drone strike people into oblivion. And it doesn't matter though, because Americans ultimately still are like, yeah, we want to be peaceful. We don't want fucking 18-year-old dumbasses from Arkansas to get their dicks blown off in a fucking hash field, in a fucking poppy field, defending the material interests of the CIA and their black budget operations, serving the entire European market for heroin. Like that's not a thing that Americans want, okay? That's not. That's why 50+% of Americans are like, no, I don't want fucking young boys and girls to fucking die in the Middle East for Israel. Of course they don't want that. Oh. It's just right there. It's right there. It's literally right there. It's right there. Just seize it. It's right there. It's like in arm's length. It is right in front of you. Please. Like, I don't know what the fuck happened to the Democratic Party. They just like post 9/11, they've become the war party, which is insane. Please, God, don't abandon the left. Call out Holocaust Harris now for what she is, bro. Time to stop fucking pretending and trying to go mainstream lib or whatever garbage you've been doing the last week or so. She isn't for a ceasefire or for holding Israel accountable in any meaningful way. It's delusional. Dude, this whole Afghanistan story explanation is fucking bullshit, dude. Literally lib propaganda. Wait. You don't think that liberal media actually started bouldering Joe Biden for pulling out of Afghanistan? Listen, big dog, if you're not paying attention to the news, then don't come at me, a professional news payer attentioner. This is all I do. I sit here and watch news more than your fucking racist grandfather. I watch more Fox News than your dumbass uncle who says the N-word, okay? That's all I do. This is what I do. I look at the media every day, okay? It's the one thing I'm good at. It's not liberal narrative. It literally happened. Biden pulling out of Afghanistan was objectively good. It was like me, the Chapo boys, and like 8 other fucking people that defended him for doing that. The entirety of the liberal media ecosystem daggered him for it. What? Scroll up. This is it. I have scrolled up. Stop fawning over the party of genocide. I'm not fucking fawning over the party of genocide. Shut up. God, you fucking Maoist America KKK third worlders are so fucking unbearable, okay? You're poison. You're literally the most like poisonous, annoying fucking losers, dude. I'm not doing that. I'm literally chirping about the mismanagement that the Democratic Party is engaging in currently. Shut the fuck up. Revolutionary vanguardist LARPers, dude. Oh my God. We're going to have to add ignoring hostile chat as the next year's resolution list again. I just don't understand. Kamala got you punching left too? No. You've been in here long enough. You know I fucking yell at dummies in the chat on a regular fucking basis. Especially, what do I hate the most out of anything else? Okay? I'm a stubborn fucking douchebag, okay? I'm incredibly stubborn and very firmly committed to my positions. And I will ride or die for it no matter what. So when a chatter comes in a disingenuous ass attitude and applies some cynical reason to why I'm saying certain things instead of listening to what I'm saying, what is coming out of my mouth, I lose my fucking mind, okay? That chatter came in and was like, oh, you're just trying to be like a mainstream liberal now. Yeah, dude. That's what I was doing. For the past 9 months, I've been covering every single day. That's fair if you read it as disingenuous. The fuck do you mean? Do you need me to go over that point again? That chatter literally fucking said, I'm trying to carve out a new lane for myself as a mainstream liberal commentator. What are we talking about? How else can you fucking read that? Stop fawning over the party of genocide and putting a smiling face on a bloody massacre, bro. What are we supposed to do? Wait for January for Harris to maybe do something? Lol. Please, God, don't abandon the left. Call out Holocaust Harris right now for what she is, bro. Time to stop fucking pretending and trying to go mainstream lib or whatever garbage you've been doing the last week or so. She isn't for a ceasefire or for holding Israel accountable in a meaningful way. It's delusional. Do you think that that was actually like a totally valid point of contention? Do you think that I was crazy for reading that as a disingenuous, Is there another way to read that statement? Can you try to fucking summarize those talking points in a way that doesn't apply some cynical reasoning as to why I'm doing the commentary that I'm doing? Go ahead. You have the table. Nah, he has points about Kamala, but he's off with you, I think. People just repeating your talking points that you just said, lol. I know. It's like the really fucking annoying shit. Look where a meeting in the middle with Republicans have got you. Why do libs constantly fucking act like they don't need the left? There's a lot of people in this community that are angry about you not actively campaigning for Jill Stein as if she has a chance to win. Yeah, I mean, it's laughable. Literally 1% of the vote in the best day. She's so bad at speaking off the cuff. Like, if you're doing this, you should never be on the fucking timeline. You should never be on the main, turning around and being like, and fucking yelling at Palestinian protesters, be like, actually, you want Trump to win? Just say so. That's Hillary Clinton shit, okay? She's 100% better than Bernie and AOC. What? Chatter is... Are you typing this from, like, Tel Aviv as a pro-Israeli chatter or something? What do you mean? What? Chatter typing from the insane asylum, hallucinating the positions that Kamala Harris doesn't have. Democrats should never do a couple different things, okay? This is not even about Gaza, okay? Not even about Gaza. A couple things that the Democrats should never do ever again. Are you ready? Number one, if you don't vote for me, you're going to fucking die. So shut the fuck up and vote for me. Never do that, okay? Never do that ever again. Literally never do that on any issue. Don't ever fucking do that. It is the dumbest way to try and change people's minds, okay? The only people that agree with you are people who are voting for you anyway, okay? Don't ever fucking do that. It is electoral poison, okay? It's poison. It's poison. That's what Hillary Clinton did, okay? Number two, don't tack to the fucking right on any issue because they are obviously much better equipped at whipping up votes for that specific issue. All right? Don't do that. Democrats were doing that on the border. They did that where crime. This past month was filled to the brim with Democrats not doing that and actually getting hundreds of millions of dollars in fundraising and like hundreds of thousands of people signing up to door knock. Why would you cut that momentum? Why wouldn't you just keep going? Keep pumping. Okay? You go back to the fucking woke scold shit, you're cooked. You tack to the right, you're cooked. They're going to call you radical anyway. Stick to the message. Stick to the policies and say, you think this is radical? You're a fucking weirdo. And last but not least, and they haven't done this yet, and I'm very happy that they haven't done this, if you don't vote for me, you hate black women. Okay? Hillary Clinton did that shit all the time. That is, again, electoral poison. Okay? Americans, by and large, fucking hate that. Everybody hates that. Literally, not a single person is like, you know what? You're right. I guess I don't hate black women, so I should apologize and learn from my mistakes. If you do that, you will lose. And Kamala Harris, to her credit, has not done that once. Okay? Trump will just be like, she's not a black woman. Trump will be like, she's a DEI candidate. Republicans will be like, she's not a real black woman. She's a DEI candidate. She doesn't deserve it. She's a whore. All this like crazy shit, right? Not once does she address that shit because that's smart. Don't address it. Let them look like fucking assholes. You don't ever have to be like, see, they hate women. They hate black people. If you don't like me, you must hate black women. If you don't like me, you must hate women. Don't ever do that because everybody fucking hates that shit. Let them look like fucking assholes. And if you're ever going to tie it back to identity, be like, yeah, it's not shocking that the party that wants to stop women from getting health care, wants to stop women from getting a medical procedure, are going to say shit like this because they're weird and gross. That's it. Either let people draw their own conclusions, or if you're ever going to bring it back to identity, tie it back to a policy that you are fighting for. Okay? Don't ever let it sit with like, oh, I guess you're anti-Semitic. Nobody likes that, okay? Nobody. Like, not a single person likes that. Huh. Hasan, what's the best part of obnoxious chatters that keep chirping at you with straw man arguments that keeps you coming back? It's good to shit on those silly ass arguments, especially because they rear their ugly head so frequently. And also, I serve them 3 minutes of ads at the top of the hour, and sometimes I forget, so I do it at 6:40. It's been a fucking... Last time I served the ad break was like an hour ago, and it was a middle of the hour ad.
Y'all, I fully thought I was a leftist until this week. Turns out I am not. I am a Democrat, and I will be giving you guys my leftist card back because I don't really want...
Yeah, like, I don't want to fucking... I don't care about this rage bait shit. I don't want to look at that. It's going to piss me off. Delay but genuine inquiry. Why do you think the Afghan exit was good? Do you mean as a general policy or how the exit happened? I think America shouldn't be and shouldn't have been in Afghanistan, but I also think the execution of the exit was done poorly and put many Afghanis, like those promised visas, in danger, abandoning them in chaos we created. I don't know. Maybe I heard stuff about the exit. Yes, you are the product of exactly what I was talking about. You are the product of mainstream media. Remember that one chatter that was talking about how it's lib shit that liberal media dunked on Biden for pulling out of Afghanistan? Here is the result. That's because CNN was saying those things. We have to stay in Afghanistan permanently to save Afghan women was the prevailing narrative on New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS. All of the outlets were literally like, we have to keep a permanent occupation there because otherwise we can't protect Afghan women. That's what they said. If we gave a single fuck about Afghan women, we wouldn't have stolen Afghanistan's money, okay, and kept it. The most gross parts of the Afghan withdrawal wasn't necessarily how we withdrew. That's a Trumpian talking point that mainstream media also pushed. It was that we killed a fucking family of humanitarian aid workers on the way out, and then we stole their money. I don't know, man. But yeah, it's good that if the question is, why do you deal with disingenuous chatters regularly? It's because there's a lot of people who are going to, in the real world, come to you with genuinely curious takes that almost entirely resemble the just curious Andys in the chat. And it's actually good and important to address them swiftly. It gives you the talking points. For two immigration reform activists heckling the president of the United States landed a pair in exclusive meeting. Juan Belmont and Mizraim Belmont got an unexpected response from President Barack Obama when they stood up and shouted while Obama was lamenting congressional inaction on immigration reform. I'm on your side, man. Sit down, guys. We'll talk about it later, I promise. Obama even told his security personnel not to escort the two out. And the president apparently made good on his promise, meeting with the two brothers after the speech. The White House confirmed the meeting, but wouldn't provide the details. The Austin American Statesman reported the pair are undocumented and their mother could face deportation. Right now, the Kamala Harris campaign, the Harris-Walz campaign, is making a calculation that the uncommitted voters weren't actually uncommitted due to Palestine, and that they can simply overcome the uncommitted voters with all of the new voters that are coming into the fray, coming into the fold, because they're riding the not Biden momentum. That's it. That's what they're going on. Dangerous prospect, dangerous gambit. It will cut into the momentum that they've cultivated. Speaking of aid workers, the IDF just killed another World Central Kitchen worker, this time a Palestinian. So no investigation will follow. Of course not. I mean, what happened to the 7 non-Palestinians they fucking slaughtered? It's an afterthought. Israel gets to do what Israel wants to do.
He will now be the main Hamas negotiator for a ceasefire and hostage release deal.
And Secretary of State Antony Blinken has said those negotiations have reached, and I'm quoting here, a final stage, and that the U.S. is pushing to finalize the deal in order to prevent the war in Gaza from spreading across.
That's crazy. Are they? Are they pushing to finalize the deal? What have they done? Arms embargo now. Arms embargo now. Not a single round of ammunition. No fucking 5.56 NATO rounds. Nothing. Okay?
The region, while Israeli leaders have vowed Yahya Sinwar will suffer the same fate as the Hamas leaders before him. Jarika.
MTS Tayeb in Beirut. Thank you.
Remember when we were looking at the Haitian Revolution history? The French arrested the leader willing to negotiate, so the second in command slaughtered every single colonizer. Israel hates history. Yeah. Ceasefire or do the unthinkable and vote socialist? They Tuesday. We know your ass is voting for PSL, okay? You're the designated PSL voter. We know. We know you're voting PSL. Don't act like you're gonna vote for anybody but PSL. You can't be in the chat for literally months as the PSL chatter. I am conflicted. I'm torn. I think it's dang impossible to stake a claim supporting continuation of arms to Israel. I wonder what Kamala would say directly. Why not? You got all this fucking momentum. Just say it. Yeah, here's the Afghan money. U.S. judge says 9/11 families are not entitled. But no, this isn't what I'm asking for. U.S. judge says 9/11 families are not entitled to the Afghan bank funds, but that's not the point. The point of contention here is that America refuses to release the fucking Afghan government's funds back to the Taliban, even though we gave them Afghanistan. Yeah, the real method here is getting Pelosi to care about Palestine, okay? That's what we got to do somehow. We got to be like David DePipe was actually a fucking Mossad agent or something. And then maybe she'll get to care about Palestine a little bit. We'd be like, yeah, David DePipe, we found out that he was actually a part of the Israeli Defense Force. And so please whip the party up, Nancy. Please save us. Nancy, save me. White girl, save me.
There are a lot of uncommitted voters right now, oftentimes young people and people like myself who are absolutely wanting to see Donald Trump defeated. But the big issue is Gaza. So what can we do to convince Harris that she must take a different position now?
How many of you support the position of the Biden administration on Israel and Gaza? Please raise your hand. How many people do not support it? Okay. Just as you said, you're absolutely right. There are many, many people who desperately want to make sure that Trump doesn't get elected and want to elect Kamala, but they're concerned. How do we change it? I will tell you that on this issue, I am a friend of President Biden, and I've been very supportive of a lot of his domestic initiatives, but on this issue, he is wrong. I can't even explain to you why there are so few Democrats in the Senate, at least. There aren't more than, I would say, 6 or 7 out of 50 or so Democrats in the Senate who are prepared to vote against money for Netanyahu. And they are, that's right, it has a lot to do with AIPAC, it has a lot to do with money in politics. And by the way, poll after poll shows that the American people are not.
There's no blunder. She made her position clear over and over again in 6 to 8 months now when it's absolutely clear that Kamala's no different than Joe Biden. Please remember how many of us said so. Dude, who the fuck are you talking to? Have I even for a brief moment said that I think Kamala Harris is like pro-Palestine? Like, who are you arguing with? Who in the ever-loving fuck are you arguing with, man? Like, what do you mean? I told you so to what? You think I think that she's like a fucking champion of Palestinian emancipation or something? Like, what is this conversation, man? What is going on? Better Kamala be honest about her inaction than manipulating people into believing that she's actually going to bring about a peace ceasefire. No, this is an opportunity to apply actual pressure, not help the libs workshop their rhetoric to fool and win over hardline ceasefire voters. Everyone huffing copium about her fomenting a ceasefire. No, dude, no. We're looking at the fucking tea leaves, okay? And I'm also making an argument that improves her electoral viability. The Democratic Party, at the very least, has a very easy way of doing something right that will also play well to their fucking election chances. Where do these liberal-ass leftists come from? They just want to say, I told you so? Yeah. At no point did I fucking say that Kamala Harris is like pro-Palestinian emancipation. Like, look, this is what Biden did when people were yelling at him. And they yelled at him all the time, by the way.
No. Folks, it's okay. Look, they care. Innocent children have been lost. They make a full point. Come on.
Like, he's the guy who's killing the children, dude. Come on. Kamala Harris is supposed to be the person who can break away from that stink. I told you in that moment on that campaign stage, she says, we're not looking back. We're going to the future, right? We're looking at the future. We're not repeating the mistakes of the past. That is also mistakes of the Biden administration. She literally actively says, we're going to fix inflation. Inflation is still a real problem. Okay? That's her separating herself from Joseph Robinette Biden. Okay? She is separating herself from Biden's biggest weakness. And she knows that that is good. That is good for the election. She needs to do that shit for Gaza too, to a certain degree.
Come on now.
Thank you for honoring gun violence survivors.
Sorry to say, this would be an example of huffing copium. That's called huffing copium or wish casting. Also, you want Kamala to be pro-Hamas? That's not what the chatter said. Chatter is totally right. That's called huffing copium or wish casting. It's not. It's not. She has had at least the foresight to literally cut away from the Biden administration at times as the vice president in terms of calling for a ceasefire before Biden ever did. That means that there is at least something up there that fucking explains to her that, like, yeah, this is a good thing to do. Okay? I'm making an argument not on moral grounds, because obviously the morality of the matter is fucking clear. I'm also making an argument on electoral grounds as well.
Supportive of what Netanyahu is doing. And by the way, in the Democratic Party, those numbers are very, very high. So to answer your question, what we have got to do at a grassroots way is say to the Democratic Party is that the policies that you have right now regarding Netanyahu are wrong. And if you really want to get young people involved in this campaign, the time is now to change those policies.
It's obvious that Dems will not do anything for Palestinian liberation or to end American imperialism. I think it's just tiring to hear you say maybe she will change instead of advocating for views to actually organize in their communities and put pressure on Palestinians. Did I not say that the uncommitted movement was going to be at the forefront of today's conversation, did I not know that they were organizing to demonstrate at the fucking rally? I did say that. The one time Slatty actually fucking says something serious and isn't like talking about Playboy Cardi is when he behaves like a fucking annoying ass chatter. Like literally the one fucking time. Everyone is perfectly valid for demanding things from their politicians that they are going to vote for, okay? That is not an inevitability. It is perfectly just. Uncommitted is not the end all be all, though. Not to be snarky. What do you mean? What are we talking about? Fucking overtaking a forward operating base? Like, what the fuck do you mean? Everything beyond trying to get the current administration to change course by routinely protesting is just moving into LARP territory. That's it. And no, the uncommitted campaign is one of the most significant ways in which voters have been able to get their fucking wills across. I just wish for a better tomorrow, just like so many things that were completely and utterly impossible, that so many of these chatters said would be impossible to happen. Biden dropping out of the race, Kamala Harris being swapped for the ticket, that not actually having negative consequences for the election, but actually unimaginably positive consequences for the election. Kamala Harris picking a pretty solid fucking vice presidential pick. All of that stuff was seemingly impossible, and yet it happened over the course of a couple weeks. Okay? A couple fucking weeks. Without glazing you too hard, since you've been right about a lot, do you think she will come out harder for a ceasefire? I hope so. I don't know if she will. It doesn't seem like it. I think she is very malleable, and I think someone in her fucking corner needs to convince her that this is the smart thing to do. But this is also an issue that fucking terrifies Democrats to the core, because it's not just Israel, which is hot button in and of itself, because there's like a litany of different counters that you will immediately be stuck with, like how fucking anti-Semitic you are. It's all anti-Semitic. It's anti-fucking Semitic. I hate that shit so fucking much. But beyond that, there's also going against American foreign policy. Like, that's a thing that you can't do. Like, it's just, no one ever goes against American foreign policy. It's bipartisan. Okay? It requires courage. It requires to take a leap. I'm trying to explain to those who are listening that this leap in this circumstance is actually one of the few instances where there's enough evidence that it would not take much to take. Okay? It would only have benefits and no negatives. No negatives. Ain't nobody in fucking the Rust Belt is going to be like, oh, wow, you want a ceasefire? That's it. I'm voting for the other guy. Like, you are fucking delusional if you think that like some fucking line worker working at a fucking assembly plant in Alabama is like, hey, we recently got unionized. It's fucking sick. I'm kind of riding with Kamala Harris. But honestly, her position on wanting to end the war in Gaza has made me reconsider everything. That's not a real human, okay? No one in Alabama is voting like that. No one in the Rust Belt is voting like that, okay? There's no permanent genocide, or I fucking don't vote for you voters out there. Those guys are already voting for the Republican Party. If anything, you're bringing more voters in to the fucking party's base. Because there are plenty of people that look to the situation and go, this is unconscionable. And they're right there in Michigan, too, which is why it blows my mind that she didn't have a fucking single line about Gaza in a goddamn airport hangar where you are like 10 miles away from Dearborn. What the fuck? What is the who's writing the campaign speeches? Are you fucking stupid? You didn't think that people were going to protest about Gaza in fucking Michigan? What the fuck? The last 3 successful presidential campaigns has stopping the wars the main talking point. Thank you. Exactly. Obama, anti-Iraq war, lied about it, but it doesn't matter. He still ran on it. Okay. Donald Trump lied about being a peaceful dove, still ran on it, won. Okay. Ironically enough, Joe Biden ran on immigration. That was the main hot button issue. Only 2.5% of Michigan is Muslim. Brother, do you know how many fucking voters that is? There are more than 200,000 Arab and Muslim voters. More than 200,000 Arab and Muslim voters in Dearborn, okay? They have friends. They have family members. They have people that also care about them, that they can sway away. You had 100,000 uncommitted voters in the Democratic Party's primary. You are delusional if you think that that does not matter. Where are the fucking liberals right now? Hillary Clinton lost because of 13,000 votes in 4 states. Hillary Clinton lost because of 13,000 votes in 4 states. That's 100,000 voters in the primary. 10x that for the fucking general, dumbass. Obviously not 10x that, but still, Biden won Michigan by literally almost the same number of total voters that voted in the primary against Biden. Real uncommitted voters don't even vote in the primaries. This is just uncommitted voters that are in the pocket of the Democratic Party, that were committed to the Democratic Party, that want to make a message to get the Democratic Party to change its stances. You're out of your fucking mind. Peace is popular. There's going to be a lot of Dems who see this and think it's an epic smackdown, but the louder and more frequent these protests get, more of a distraction it becomes. And someone who's actually running a campaign to win, i.e. not Biden, has a reason to mitigate distractions. The whole point of switching to Biden to Harris is to get some kind of reset. Everyone is either unconditionally dick riding the oh, she cooked, oh, slay mama, and hitting the fucking Hillary Clinton I'm with her lines on the Kamala Harris yelling at the hecklers clip, or they're fucking understandably mad. It's a terrible look no matter which way you cut it. Is it possible Kamala's acting like she's playing down the middle to not lose Jewish voters? Dude, what are we talking about, dude? What? Oh my God, this is not a real calculation. Please be for fucking real, okay? 1, not all Jewish voters are like 100% genocide in Gaza, or I'm not voting for you. And 2, even if that was the fucking case, which it is not, okay? Even if that was the case, oh my God, do you think we're gonna lose fucking California and New York? Where do you think the Jewish population is? This is not a real point of contention. The only difference is there's not a very big Muslim population in this country either, okay? It's actually, I believe, smaller than the Jewish population in this country. But they happen to be in Michigan, and they happen to be in Minnesota. That's important. Notice how I didn't bring up Florida, which is the 3rd enclave with a high Jewish population. Because Florida is deep red, so it doesn't matter, okay? Like, I saw this. I read this. This is not news to me. We read it. That's what made me even more mad. Here, it's highlighted right here. 4.5 million Muslims and 7.5 million Jewish people in America. Exactly. Okay? That's right. I said there's less Muslims than there's Jewish people in this country. It's just that the Muslims happen to be in Michigan and in Minnesota, in areas where they have a pretty... Oh my God. This isn't just about like people feeling like only Muslims care about genocide or only Jews care about Israel. It's not how this works. Okay? There was a significantly larger population of Americans that actually unconditionally want Israel to keep fucking doing genocide. They're evangelical Christians. They are not even in the political calculation. They will never vote for the Democratic Party. Okay? That's not the fucking combo. The combo is, even if you were to say falsely that Jews in America only care about Israel and nothing else, when They definitely do care about other shit beyond Israel. They're American citizens. They're American citizens, by and large, living in blue enclaves that actually have a lot of fucking progressive policy positions. And Israel happens to be the one that just like breaks a lot of people's brains, especially when they get older. But beyond that, it's not a fucking monolithic voting block as a single issue vote. Okay? But even if it was, which it is not, even if it was, it still doesn't change the political calculation. Okay? This is back from May. Most Democrats believe Israel is committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. Like, what are we doing? Won't Trump do the anti-Semitism line if Kamala went publicly against Israel? Who cares? Donald Trump ate dinner with a fucking Nazi. Donald Trump had active Nazis in his cabinet. Donald Trump said Nazis are very fine people. Are you fucking insane? They are literally doing that anyway. They were like, well, they sure didn't pick Josh Shapiro because he's Jewish. That must be anti-Semitism. They're doing that anyway. Who gives a fuck? Suck my dick, dude. Donald Trump keeps saying Jews that vote for the Democrats are delusional. 76% of the Jewish population of this country vote Democrat. Okay? He called Chuck Schumer Palestinian as a pejorative. Who gives a fuck what Donald Trump has to say? What are you talking about? This is not per se knock on Tim Walz, but it's striking that the pro-Palestine movement could not stick to the terms of give us Tim Walz or we dedicate 100% of our effort to electing Trump, even though we concede he is worse on our key issue deal for one day. Yeah, I mean, these guys are stupid. Don't show me this stupid ass bullshit. I don't want to fucking yell at dumbass liberals who are trying to like retriangulate. Okay? Yeah, who cares? Fucking idiots. Dude, the guy you just sent me, okay? Listen here. Listen to me. Look into my eyes. The guy, Matty Iglesias, that egg-shaped fucker that you just sent me a tweet from, after Biden dropped out, said Joe Manchin should be his replacement. Do you understand me? He said Joe Manchin should be the replacement. Joe Manchin should be the replacement for Joseph Robinette Biden. That's what he said. Do we trust his political instincts? Do we trust that he knows anything that he's talking about? Do we think that is a real human being? No, we do not. Never bring Matty Iglesias up ever again, unless you want to joke about how egg-shaped he is and how fucking disgusting he is to look at. Okay? Never again. Kamala Harris shuts down anti-Israel protesters during the campaign speech in Michigan. I'm speaking. Biden will still be the nominee if the debate never happened. The donors didn't drop him. Who cares? It did happen. Doesn't mean anything. You keep talking about community organizing matters more. You should be making that more clear. This is community organizing. Urging people to go and protest and say you will voluntarily withhold your vote is literally the most effective way of organizing and applying pressure. Please, this is the one instance where it seems like the Democratic Party is listening and you're over here being like, nah, don't talk to them. I think my favorite part about libs yelling at you is that they also yelled at you for saying Biden should drop out. They also yelled at you when you said they should pick out a progressive for VP. It's bad political instincts coming back. The temporary buff wore out. I know. That's the funniest part. Every single person that is like riding the Kamala momentum right now, we're like, can we really swap out Biden? What if the Republicans actually sue? What if the Republicans actually sue the Democrats to keep Biden in? What if she can't take all of the campaign funds? Is America really ready for a black woman to run for president? That wasn't that long ago. That was a couple weeks ago. Okay? There'd be so much chaos, guys. Oh my God, the voters would hate it. They would hate it. It's untested. Remember that fucking cowardly instinct that you have inside of your soul every single time. Remember how wrong you were. Remember how good you feel now. Okay? And then listen to me when I say that there's a couple issues in this fucking campaign that need to be sorted out. This is one of them. most people, for the record, that are coming in here will perhaps be shocked tomorrow when like the media doesn't cover it as much. And this is like a minor blip or a mere disruption that will be cast aside, except it will not go away. Okay? It will keep growing and growing and growing. And simultaneously, while the momentum is growing and the disruptions get larger and larger until it's not something you can ignore, Benjamin Netanyahu, who wants Donald Trump to be president, will be doing some fuck shit. Okay?